Article comes to us via Nintendo Life. Nintendo Life saying, should we be worried about screen burn-in with a Nintendo Switch OLED? And basically what it is, it's a permanent image burned onto your screen and it never goes away. It's burn-in, like the way exactly what the name implies. But they're saying, should you be worried about it with the Nintendo Switch OLED? So they go on to say, burn-in can occur with various types of displays if they are made to show the same static image for long enough. It happens to phones, TVs, and generally anything with a screen. It's not just TikTok either. The icons displaying battery, Wi-Fi, volume, and in fact that my phone, a phone is always set to vibrate are all there too. Ghost-like apparitions on the top right of the screen. On the left, there's a quite creepy amalgam of, I don't know what that word is, amalgam. That's a new one for me. Of every single time that I've looked at my phone, represented by a permanent clock, plus an irritating reminder that I have too many unread emails and messages. For example, Apple's new iPhones have some special algorithms that monitor the usage of individual pixels to produce display calibration data, which is to say that it self-adjusts brightness to stop burn-in. Although they say that burn-in is just an expected behavior with OLED screens, it's a risk-reward thing, but you can mitigate the risk at least. Consoles like the Xbox try to reduce a burn-in on their side by having things fade to a dim setting after a while. The current Switch has a screen burn-in reduction mode as well. Man, have you guys turned on that screen burn-in reduction on the Switch? It dims it pretty bad though. I never have used it. I've never had burn-in problems with my current Switch, but they're saying OLED could pose a larger risk. So, what does Nintendo say about burn-in on the Switch OLED? They actually did make a statement on this, and this according to CNET. What Nintendo responded to in terms of the OLED screen burn-in concern, we've designed the OLED screen to aim for longevity as well as possible, but OLED displays can experience image retention if subjected to static visuals over a long period of time. However, users can take preventive measures to preserve the screen by utilizing features included in the Nintendo Switch system by default, such as auto brightness function to prevent the screen from getting too bright, and the auto sleep function to go into auto sleep mode after short periods of time. So to summarize, what Nintendo is basically saying is that they're not denying that burn-in is a problem, but their statement seems to apply, this according to Nintendo Life, that yes, eventually it might happen, but you can prevent it or prolong the issue by carefully monitoring your screen, make sure that it's turned off, if not leaving it on for extended periods of time, and using the auto brightness level option that it's going to have and auto sleep functions. So should you guys be worried about burn-in with the Switch OLED? Would you guys be worried about that? I would like to hear from you in the chat. So personally, I haven't never owned an OLED other than Vita. I personally have never had a problem with the Vita other than two other things that we talked about yesterday. One being that it had a weird screen door effect, meaning that when it was like a gray scene in a game or like where there was like clouds, I remember seeing it when I would play like Silent Hill on it. You could notice a weird, like it looked like kind of like a thin veil over the screen. And I guess if you don't have OCD, then I think you'll be good. But since I'm really OCD about my screens, that sounds probably really strange, right? I'm pretty OCD about my like TVs and my screens, but I noticed that right away and I was like, crap, I even sent it into Sony and they sent me a replacement. And that one I ended up noticing, see, at the time when it came out though, OLED was a really new concept and I don't think maybe quality control was too well, but I talked about it and I forgot who mentioned it in the chat last night. They actually also knew the problem I was talking about, where you could see like ink splotches like when it was like on sleep mode. So it was like a really weird issue that it had, but I ended up just staying with it and eventually I forgot that it existed. But one thing I never did encounter with the Vita was screen burn-in. So yeah, I think at this point, especially dealing with an OLED screen, it's probably best to get some insurance for it. But I'm still very curious if Nintendo is going to cover burn-in. That's going to be very interesting. Joe says, I heard from a guy at Best Buy, it's not as bad as projection TVs. He said just have moving images. The still images could burn in. The Switch has an auto sleep function, so it shouldn't be a problem. Possession says, I just had my screen replaced under warranty on my S20. Same thing on my Note 8. Was it because of burn-in? Vague says, honestly, OLEDs have been around long enough that I think it's a moot issue. It's an honor and a pleasure, my friends. We'll see you next time, man. And remember, stay safe, stay awesome. You're cool. Guys, we're gonna see you later, man. Yeah!